כבוד הנשיא, היום העם
Mr.
היהודי מציין את
President,
סיום חג
today
הסוכות
the
ומחר
Jewish
נציין
people
את שמחת
are
תורה.
ending the holiday of
בשמחת תורה
Sukkot,
לפני
and
שנתיים
tomorrow
לא
it will be
שמחנו.
Simchat Torah. And
היה זה היום
2
הקשה
years ago in
ביותר
Simchat
שחוותה
Torah,
מדינת ישראל
it was the
משחר
most
הקמתה
difficult day for the
והעם
state of
היהודי
Israel
מאז
since its
השואה.
establishment and for the Jewish people
עשרות פעמים
since the
הגעתי יחד עם
Holocaust.
מנהיגים זרים
Many
למקום
times I
הטבח.
came with
עם רבים
many
מהם ישבתי
visitors
לצפות
to the
בתיעוד
area of the
המצולם של הזוועות
slaughter,
שאני יודע
and
שגם
I
אתה
saw the
ראית.
horrors.
שבועות ספורים
And
לאחר ה-7
few
באוקטובר
weeks after the
ליוויתי את
7th of
ג'רד
October, I
ואיוונקה
accompanied
שהגיעו לכאן
Jared and Ivanka
לאזורים
that who
הקשים
came to those
ביותר.
difficult areas.
ראינו את מה
We
שקיווינו,
saw what
היינו בקיבוץ
we
כפר
were in
עזה
Kfar
ברעים,
Aza,
וראינו את מה
and we
שקיווינו
saw
שלא
what
יחזור עוד
we hope
בתולדות
that we
האנושות.
will never
מראות
see again,
של פוגרומים,
horrible
ילדים,
sites of
נשים,
pogroms,
קשישים, גברים,
children, men
חיים
and
שלווים
women,
שהיו
and the elderly,
ואינם עוד.
they are no longer
השטן
there.
לא רק
The
רצח,
Satan not
טבח,
only
אנס
murdered
ושרף
and raped
רבים מאחינו
and
ואחיותינו,
many of our
הוא גם
brothers and
חטף אותם
sisters, it
וציל
also
חיים. אז
abducted the
בני ישראל
lives
נלחמו
and
את
the dead.
המלחמה הקשה,
And since then,
הארוכה,
this
וגם
has been
הצודקת
the longest
בתולדותיהם.
and the most just
הפצע הזה
war, this
של אחינו
wound
החטופים בשבי
of our
נותר
brothers
פתוח ושותת
in
דם מאז
prison
7 באוקטובר,
has
כל עם
been
ישראל
when
כאב
all
את
the
כאב
nation of
החטופים
Israel
ובני
has been
משפחותיהם,
in pain
התלויים בין
of
תקווה
the
לייאוש,
families
בין חיים
of the
למוות,
abducted
עד הבוקר הזה.
until this morning.
במשך שנתיים,
For 2 years,
במקום בו יושבים
in
האורחים
the
ביציע
gallery
של
where the
כבוד
people,
הנשיא,
the guests are sitting,
השקיפו מעלינו
we had photos of
הבוקר,
the hostages.
לקראת האירוע
But
ההיסטורי הזה,
this morning,
זכינו
towards
להוריד את
this
התמונות עם
historical day,
חזרתם של
we
החטופים
were able to
למשפחותיהם.
remove
זה משהו
photos,
ספונטני,
and I will do something
בפסיקת החטופים
spontaneous, and I will remove the pin
צביקה
of
מור, אבא של
that
איתן
I
מור,
received from
אני
Tzvika
מתכבד
Mor.
להוריד אותה.
I am
רגע
removing
דיברתי
it because a minute ago
איתן
I
כבר
spoke
בידיהם,
to
והם
Tzvika
חוגגים
Mor's
את
brother,
האיחוד
and
הזה.
they are
תודה
celebrating
לך,
this
הנשיא
unification.
טראמפ.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Thank you so much, President Trump.
Mr. President, you stand before the people of Israel not as another American president, but as a giant of Jewish history, one for whom we must look back 2.5 millennia into the mists of time to find a parallel, Cyrus the Great. You, President Donald J. Trump, are a colossus who will be enshrined in the pantheon of history. Thousands of years from now, Mr. President, the Jewish people will remember you. We are a nation that remembers. Far from being a local struggle, what we are witnessing is a global struggle, a global battle between the forces of extremism, radicalism, fundamentalism, and those of freedom, liberty, and democracy. What the world needs now is not appeasers who feed the crocodile in the hope that they will be eaten last, like the kind we have seen recently at the UN General Assembly. Way, President Trump, your teleprompter, it is working beautifully. What the world needs now are more leaders who are brave, resolute, strong, and bold. The world needs more Trumps. Mr. President, with your permission, I would like to take this moment to address Prime Minister Netanyahu. ראש הממשלה, עמדת בכל שנות
Mr.
כהונתך,
Prime Minister, you,
אבל בפרט בשנתיים האחרונות,
the last
מול
2 years,
לחצים אדירים.
you faced
סטיב
great
וויטקוף,
pressures.
שלוחו המיוחד של הנשיא
Steve
טראמפ,
Witkoff, the
שלחם
special
יחד איתך
envoy that
בשוחות
fought
ולהחזרת
along with you
החטופים,
to return
אמר
the
עליך,
hostages, said about you
העבודה הקשה באמת
that most
הייתה
difficult
של
work
ראש
was
הממשלה.
that of the
הוא זה
prime
שהיה
minister.
צריך
It
לקבל
was the
החלטות
prime
קשות,
minister who
עד
had to
כמה להיות
take
קשוחים מול
hard
חמאס,
decisions.
מתי
How
לגלות
much
גמישות.
we have to be
היו רגעים,
hard towards
חשבתי,
Hamas,
כך אומר
and
ויטקוף,
when we have to
שעליכם להתלבש
be
יותר,
more
אבל האמת היא
moderate.
שכעת,
But the truth
במבט לאחור,
now,
אני
looking
חושב שלא
backwards,
היינו מגיעים לנקודה הזו,
we wouldn't
אם
have
ראש
reached this
הממשלה
point
נתניהו
if
לא היה
the
פועל
Prime Minister
כפי שפעל.
Netanyahu wouldn't have acted the way he acted.
גם הנשיא שלי,
Also,
נמשיך,
my
ויטקוף, גם הנשיא שלי, אתה אדוני, הנשיא טראמפ,
Also,
מאמין
my
בכך.
president
הוא מאמין
Trump
שראש הממשלה נתניהו
believes that the
קיבל
prime
החלטות קשות
minister
מאוד, והיו
Netanyahu
אנשים
made
פחות
hard
אמיצים
decisions,
שלא היו מקבלים
and
החלטות
there were
כאלה.
people who would have
והנה
been
אנחנו
less
כאן
brave
היום,
who would have made
משום
this decision.
שלחמאס לא הייתה
We
ברירה.
are here
כך
today
אומר ויטקוף.
because
הם
the
נאלצו
Hamas
להגיע
did not have
להסכם
an
הזה.
alternative. So said
הלחץ היה
Witkoff,
עצום
the
ולכם יש
pressure
צבא
was
גדול.
great, and
התקדמתם
therefore
משמעותית
we
בשטח,
progressed
וזה מה
immensely,
שהוביל
and
להסכם
this
הזה.
is what brought
אומר
about this
השליח
agreement.
ויטקוף.
This is what the envoy Witkoff has stated.
אדוני ראש הממשלה,
Mr. Prime Minister, yesterday,
בדרכו לישראל, אמר
on
הנשיא
his
טראמפ,
way to Israel,
שאתה הוא האיש
President
הנכון,
Trump, that you are
בזמן
the
הנכון.
right person
ואני
at
גאה
the
לומר
right time.
כאן,
And I'm proud to
לעיני
say
העולם,
here, in front of the
שבזכותך
whole world,
הגענו להישגים
thanks to
הרבים
you,
שאליהם
we
הגענו. תודה לך, ראש
the
הממשלה.
great things that we have achieved. Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister.
ביום הזה
This day, today,
נודה מלב האומה
we will thank
וממעמקי
from
הנפש
the heart
הלאומית
depths of
לחיילי
our heart
צה"ל
to
האמיצים,
the brave soldiers of the IDF, of the Israeli Defense Forces,
נודה לחיילי
thank
צה"ל
to the
האמיצים
IDF
שהסתערו
brave
קדימה
soldiers
כאריות
who fought
וסיכנו
like
את חייהם
lions and endangered their
ולהגן על
lives
מדינת ישראל.
in order to protect
רבים
the
מהם
state of
נפלו
Israel.
והקריבו את
Many of
חייהם
them
למען המדינה,
sacrificed their lives
שמרכינה את ראשה בפניהם
for the
ובפני
country
משפחותיהם
that
השכולות.
bows its head.
דמם לא
Their
נשפך
blood
לשווא,
was not
כי בגבורתם ובהקרבתם
die in
הם
vain,
הביאו לרגע
because with their
הנשגב הזה,
heroism they brought
ושמותיהם
this
ייוותרו
state,
חקוקים לעד
and their
בלב
names
האומה.
will be inscribed forever in the hearts of the nation.
President Trump,
President,
you are the president of peace. There was not a single person on this planet who did more than you to advance peace. No one even came close. Your election to the presidency marked a turning point, not only for the United States, but for the entire world. Through your strength of character and unwavering resolve, you brought an end to bloody conflicts in no fewer than 8 regions across the globe. In less than 9 months, you became one of the most consequential presidents in history. You saved countless lives that would have been lost without your leadership. And as our statement teaches, whoever saves one life, it is as though he has saved an entire world. You have proven that true peace is achieved through strength, and that only those who are prepared to use force in the present can prevent the need to use it in the future. Mr. President, you, more than any other individual, are deserving of the highest recognition for your efforts in promoting peace. Therefore, I hereby announce that together with our good friend, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, we will rally speakers and presidents of parliament from around the world to submit your candidacy for the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize next year. There is no one more deserving than you, President Trump. No one. אדוני הנשיא, אנחנו ניצבים בפני ההיסטוריה ברגע נשגב
Mr.
שיחטט
President,
לדורות.
we are in the
ויום מאוד
confronting
מרגש
history. It is a
לאזרחי
very
ישראל,
exciting
יום
day for the
שכולנו
citizens of
ייחלנו לו.
Israel, a day that we
בספר
all wish
ירמיהו
for.
משיב
In the
השם לרחל
Jeremiah,
ומלכה את
it
בניה.
says,
ראי קולך מבכי ועינייך
when we
מדמעה.
hear your cry,
יש שכר
there will
לפעולתך,
be
נאום
a
אדוני.
wage for your,
ושבו ארץ
and
אויב,
they will
ויש
return from
תקווה
the country of
לאחריתך,
the enemies,
נאום אדוני.
and the
ושבו
sons return to their borders, to their land. The book
אני
of
מבקש
Jeremiah.
לאחל בכל
I
ליבי
would like
החלמה מהירה ושלמה לפצועים
I want to
ולחטופים
wish
השבים.
all
כמה טוב
the
שבאתם
hostages
הביתה.
how happy we are and how good it is that you are back home.
הנשיא טראמפ
President Trump,
היה
who
רוצה
will
שלום במרומיו ויברך
give
אותך,
us that
נשיא השלום,
God Almighty
בארצך
will bless
ואזרחיה,
you,
את
your and
משפחתך
your
וכל היקרים
family,
לך,
your country,
ויעשה
all
שלום
those
עלינו
who are
ועליכם.
dear to you. And
May
will
God bless you, President Trump. May God bless the United States of America. And may God bless the state of Israel. תודה רבה וחג שמח. אני מתכבד להזמין את ראש הממשלה, חבר הכנסת בנימין נתניהו,
inviting now
לשאת
Mr.
דברים.
Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, to say a few words.
מכובדי הנשיא הרצוג ורעייתו מיכל,
President Herzog and his wife Michal,
מכובדיי הרבים,
and the great honorary guests,
ובראשם
and headed by
ידידנו הגדול,
our great friend,
נשיא ארצות
the
הברית,
President of the United
הנשיא
States,
דונלד ג'יי
President
טראמפ.
Donald J. Trump.
ברוך בואך
Welcome
לירושלים
to
בירתנו
Jerusalem,
הנצחית.
our eternal capital.
ברוך בואך
Welcome
לישראל
to Israel
ביום המרגש הזה,
in this moving day, exciting
שיחקק
day
בתולדות עמנו.
that will be inscribed in the history
וגם
of
אתה,
the
הנשיא,
annals of Israel, and you too, Mr.
נחקק
President,
בתולדות עמנו,
will be inscribed in
וכבר
the
נחקקת
history of
בתולדות
our nation,
האנושות.
and you are already inscribed
אבל
in
אנחנו,
the
כפי
history
שנאמר,
of the world.
זוכרים את ידידינו.
We remember our
אנחנו
friends.
יודעים
We know
את חלקך
your
החשוב
part, your important
והמכריע
part, and the determined
בהחזרת
part
יתרת חטופינו.
of the return of the
ביום הזה,
hostages. In this day,
שהתבשרנו עכשיו,
when we
רק
were
לפני שעה
informed
קלה,
today, an hour ago,
שכל חטופינו
that
החיים
all our lives
שבו אלינו.
returned back to us.
איזו התרגשות.
What excitement.
כמה חיכינו לרגע הזה,
how long we've waited for
אנחנו
this
מחויבים
moment,
להחזיר את כולם.
and we are committed
ואני
to
רוצה
return
להודות לך
everyone.
באופן אישי,
And I want to thank you
ובשם האומה
personally
כולה.
and on behalf of the whole
תודה לך,
nation.
הנשיא טראמפ.
Thank you, Mr.
תודה לך.
President Trump. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, I know that the teleprompters are working well, though I'm not using them. But I'm not sure about the translation. So I'll say words in English. President Trump, the Knesset welcomes you and your distinguished delegation to Jerusalem, our eternal capital. This is your first visit to Israel since you recognize Jerusalem as our capital and moved the embassy here. Thank you, President Trump, for that. There are many other reasons to thank you since your last visit here. Thank you for recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Thank you for standing up to the lies against Israel in the United Nations. Thank you for recognizing in your 2020 peace plan our rights in Judea and Samaria, the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. Thank you for brokering the historic Abraham Accords. Abraham, Eskhemei Abraham. Thank you for withdrawing from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. Thank you for supporting Operation Rising Lion and for your bold decision to launch Operation Midnight Hammer. Boy, is that, you got to hear this. This is the most fitting name ever named for a military operation, because a little after midnight, you really hammered them. My friends, this is only a partial list, but it's enough to affirm what I've said time and again. Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House. No American president has ever done more for Israel. And as I said in Washington, it ain't even close. It's really not a match. Mr. President, today we welcome you here to thank you for your pivotal leadership in putting forward a proposal that got the backing of almost the entire world. A proposal that brings all our hostages home. A proposal that ends the war by achieving all our objectives. A proposal that opens the door to an historic expansion of peace in our region and beyond our region. Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace. We've done it before. We've done it before in the Abraham Accords, and we'll do it again. Mr. President, today the Jewish calendar marks the end of 2 years of war. That war began on October 7th on the Jewish festival of Simchat Torah. You always tell me, and you tell the world, remember October 7th. Mr. President, we remember. We remember the thousands of Hamas terrorists who stormed into our towns and kibbutzim. We remember the 1,200 people Hamas savagely slaughtered in cold blood, including dozens and dozens of Americans. We remember entire families burnt alive as they embraced each other. We remember the beautiful young Israelis brutally gunned down at the Nova Music Festival. We remember the hundreds of our citizens who were dragged into the dungeons of Gaza, including 12 Americans, men and women, young and old, babies and elderly Holocaust survivors. My friends, Mr. President Donald, these monsters take babies as hostages. In response to this barbaric attack on October 7th, Israel did what it had to do. With indomitable courage, we set out to defend our people, to defeat our enemies, and to release our hostages. Our heroic soldiers fought like lions. They fought on the front lines of civilization and barbarism. Israel achieved amazing victories over Hamas and the entire Iran terror axis. Sinwar, Def, Hania, Nasrallah, Assad, they're all gone. Iran's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile program with Europe with enormous help, Mr. President, rolled back. Half the Houthi leadership wiped out. But the price of this victory, the price of these victories, has been heavy. Nearly 2,000 of Israel's finest were lost, nearly half in battle. They left behind parents, spouses, siblings, and children. Their love and laughter, their promise and potential were lost forever. To the families of our fallen fighters, many of them are here, I say, I know the depth of your pain. I know the inconsolable grief that will accompany you for the rest of your lives. The state of Israel bows its head in eternal gratitude for fallen heroes. Because of these heroes, our nation will survive. Because of these heroes, our nation will thrive. And because of these heroes, our nation will have peace. Mr. President, thousands of our brave soldiers were also wounded, suffering terrible blows, body and soul. Brave soldiers like Ari Spitz. Ari is an American. Ari is an American Israeli who was injured Ari is an American Israeli who was injured in Gaza while searching for Hamas terrorists and weapons. Two of Ari's comrades were killed in this action and 10 were injured. Ari was presumed dead, but made a miraculous recovery despite losing 3 limbs. Ari, stand up for a minute alone. Stand up. There you go. There. Ari, you are the spirit of Joshua. You are the spirit of David. You are the spirit of the Maccabees. You are the spirit of Israel. I salute you. We all salute you. Sabine Tassa of Kibbutz Netiv Asara is watching us today from the Israeli consulate in Los Angeles. Sabine lost her husband and her oldest son on October 7th. She is the mother of 3 other boys. 2 of them, Cohen and Shai, witnessed their father jump on a Hamas grenade to save his 2 sons. We all saw the film of those 2 boys crying out in pain. Father is dead. Why? Why did God save me? Mr. President, my friend Donald, I've seen some very tough things in my life. But I couldn't bring myself to watch those boys suffering again. I didn't see this film except once. Sabine, their mother, has had the strength and fortitude to show this film across the world. My wife Sarah and I asked her, Sabina, how do you do it? Why do you do it? And she answered, I do it to show the entire world the monsters Israel is fighting and the justice of our cause. This is what she's doing once again in Los Angeles. Sabine, you can hear me now. So I want to tell you on behalf of all of us, you embody the spirit of our biblical heroines, Deborah, Ruth, and Esther. You too are the spirit of Israel, and we all salute you. Mr. President, you asked me on our many conversations during the 12-day war with Iran, you asked me, how are the people holding up? And I said to you, our people are strong. Israelis are a nation of lions with unlimited resolve to defend our country and secure our future. The people give strength to our soldiers, and the people give strength to me and to my colleagues. The Jewish people have risen from the ashes time and again, but when we formed the State of Israel and the Army of Israel, we pledged never again would be defenseless against our enemies. And that resolute strength not only assures our survival, it assures our future. It assures peace. We've paid a high price for this war. But our enemies now understand just how powerful and just how determined Israel is. They understand that attacking Israel on October 7th was a catastrophic mistake. They understand that Israel is strong and that Israel is here to stay. And this, Mr. President, is the indispensable foundation of peace. Peace through strength. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a momentous day, a day of great joy as the remaining hostages come home. My wife Sarah and I have met with the hostage families many times. There were no words to describe their agony, only tears of bottomless sorrow and unimaginable pain. At the beginning of the war, I promised to bring all the hostages home. Hey, with the indispensable help, the determined and focused help, the unremitting help of President Trump and his team, and with the incredible sacrifice and courage of the soldiers of Israel, we are fulfilling that promise. It has been a long journey to get here. In the first week of the war, our brave soldiers put military pressure on Hamas, and the international community put diplomatic pressure on them. This enabled us to secure the release of over 100 hostages. In heroic rescue attempts behind enemy lines, Israel's special forces rescued 8 live hostages and brought back the remains of dozens more. But as time went on, we all know what happened. Diplomatic pressure was turned on its head. More and more governments bought into Hamas's false propaganda. More and more governments succumbed to anti-Semitic mobs in their own countries. They just turned on Israel. They called for us to surrender to Hamas demands. Gaza immediately, they said, end the war without committing to disarm Hamas, without committing to demilitarize Gaza. Had Israel succumbed to those demands, not only would the Sinwar, Nasrallah, Assad, and Iran's missile nuclear program remain intact. Not only that, because in no time, the Hamas killers would be back on the border fence, ready to repeat the horrors of October 7th again and again, as they vowed to do. But just at that point of maximum pressure on Israel, a man named Donald J. Trump was elected President of the United States. And ladies and gentlemen, overnight, everything changed. Everything. Mr. President, thanks to your unequivocal backing of Israel, we secured a second hostage deal within weeks of your election. And in the months that followed, we worked closely together to forge a path to bring the remaining hostages home and the war. End the war in a way that ensures the disarming of Hamas, the militarization of Gaza, and that Gaza would never again pose a threat to Israel. 2 months ago, you fully backed my decision to send the IDF into the last Hamas stronghold in Gaza City. You shared my view that this military pressure would help free the hostages. And despite all the criticism, all the naysayers, you were right. Hamas caved in. And 2 weeks ago, you succeeded in doing something miraculous. You succeeded in doing something that no one believed was possible. You brought most of the Arab world, indeed, you brought most of the world behind your proposal to free the hostages and end the war. I want to thank Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and Ron Dermer for their great contribution to this effort. And I want to thank our negotiating team. I believe that the close cooperation between the two of us, between our two nations, combining Israel's military pressure and President Trump's unmatched global leadership. I have to tell you, I've seen a lot of American presidents in the time that I've been here, and I've been here quite a lot of time. I've never seen anyone move the world so quickly, so decisively, so resolutely as our friend President Donald J. Trump. With our military pressure and President Trump's global leadership, we achieved this historic moment. It's a moment of indescribable joy as our nation embraces our sons who are coming home. Mr. President, this week, around the world, Jews around the world are going to read the book of Ecclesiastes, Kohelet, in the Bible. The Bible has many miraculous moments. One of them was your decision to bomb Fordo. I think it was a pivot of history because it wasn't meant only to bomb Fordo. That action and your previous action of taking out Qasem Soleimani, the architect of death, I think that changed the balance of power in the world. You brought America back again to the driver's seat. Now, I said that we're going to read this week the book of Ecclesiastes. It's not a book of action. It's a book of meditation, of thought, of perspective on life and on death. And in this book, we read the immortal words of King Solomon. To everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Et milchama ve'et shalom. A time for peace and a time for war. The last 2 years have been a time of war. The coming years will hopefully be a time for peace. Peace inside Israel and peace outside Israel. I look forward to continuing marching with you on the path we paved together with the Abraham Accords. Under your leadership, we can forge new peace treaties with Arab countries in the region and Muslim countries beyond the region. Abraham's children will work together to build a better future, a future that will unite civilization against barbarism, light against darkness, and hope against despair. And my friends, I believe that with President Trump's leadership, this will happen a lot faster than people think. As Prime Minister of Israel, I extend my hand to hold those who seek peace with us. No one wants peace more than the people of Israel. Israel will always remain vigilant in defending itself, and Israel will always remain full of hope. Hope is our national anthem. Hope is our creed. Hope is our strength. It is time, my friends, to realize that hope and expand the circle of peace. Mr. President, thank you for all you have done for us. I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award. As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award, to our greatest friend. When others were weak, you were strong. When others were fearful, you were bold. When others abandoned us, you stood by our side. On behalf of the government and people of Israel, I thank you for your extraordinary friendship. Thank you for helping bring our hostages home. Thank you for supporting Israel's march to victory. Thank you for paving a path to peace. מכובדי נשיא ארצות הברית, ידידי דונלד,
Honorary
ברוך הבא
President,
לישראל,
welcome to
ברוך
Israel.
הבא לירושלים,
Welcome to
ברוך
Jerusalem.
הבא ביום המרגש הזה,
Welcome to
שהחיינו
this
וקיימנו
exciting day.
והגיענו לזמן
Brought
הזה.
us to this day.
May God bless you and your family, Mr. President. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. And may God bless the covenant between our two promised lands. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
For president. Where? Oh, whoever left. Come on up, opposition. Come on, opposition.
Yeah, okay. אני מתכבד להזמין כעת את ראש האופוזיציה, חבר הכנסת יאיר לפיד.
Mr. Speaker, members of Knesset, ministers, President Herzog, Prime Minister Netanyahu, distinguished guests, Your Excellency, President Trump. For 2 years, we waited for this moment. 2 years of sleepless nights, 2 years without air in our lungs. Our eyes are filled with tears today. Our hearts are filled with gratitude. Our children are coming home. In the Babylonian Talmud, the sacred book of the Jewish people, it is written, whoever destroys one life, it is as though he destroyed an entire world, and whoever saves one life, it is though as he has saved an entire world. Mr. President, you have saved the lives of our hostages. But you saved so much more. You have saved the souls of the bereaved whose loved ones now will be brought home for burial. You have saved thousands of soldiers who will now not fall in battle. And you have saved millions from the horrors of war. You have saved more than one life, and each life is an entire world. This is a historic moment, a reminder that history is shaped by people. It is shaped by those who know the past, but have the vision to change the future. When you were elected, you declared that you would be the president of peace. You have kept your word. The fact that you are not awarded the Nobel Peace Prize is a grave mistake by the committee. But they will have no choice, Mr. President. They will have to award it to you next year. Peace will not come by waiting. It will come by building, by reaching out, and by daring once again to believe. You, Mr. President, have done the unimaginable. We will be eternally grateful. But we also need to take responsibility. The destiny of Israel will always be written by the people of Israel. We must now prove ourselves worthy of what has been achieved. From its founding, Israel has said to the world that our strength, our power rest upon our values. Israel is the strongest country in the Middle East because we are the only democracy in the Middle East. Because we believe in the principles laid in our Declaration of Independence, which says Israel will ensure complete equality of social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, or sex. It will guarantee freedom of religion, conscience, language, education, and culture. It will safeguard the holy places for all religions. Those are our values. That is who we are as people, as a country. Our neighbors must understand one more thing about us. We are not going anywhere. The Middle East is our home. We are here to stay. Our story did not end in the Bible. It began there. It continues in our laboratories and universities, in our innovation hubs. Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, and the Houthis, they all read the wrong intelligence reports. The real intelligence report on Israel's intentions is found in the book of Genesis. And I will give you and your descendants after you the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession. We call upon nations of the Islamic world and all our neighbors, Saudi Arabia, Syria, others. We are here to stay. We can do great things together. Come and talk to us. Mr. President, you are the one who can make it happen as you did with the historic Abraham Accords. Then too, do you impose your vision on everyone? While others spoke of difficulties, you created opportunity. We can be the one to bring the next wave of peace. The people of Israel support this. They want this. We are ready. And you can later today in Egypt with your unbelievably talented team, my friends, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, forge a regional alliance that will change not only the Middle East, but the entire world. After 2 years of war, the peoples of this region should look around and ask themselves, whose situation is better? Those who chose the path of peace or those who chose the path of war? Those who invested in their people, in the education of their children, in science and education and technology, or those who invested in hate and violence? From here, I say, all those who demonstrated against Israel this past 2 years, on the streets of London and Rome, in Paris and Columbia University. I do not represent the government. As you know, I am the leader of the opposition. And I tell you, then you were deceived. You were deceived. Propaganda experts, funded by terror money, manipulated. Now that the war has stopped, you have time and a chance to go and learn the facts. The truth is, There was no genocide, no intentional starvation. The truth is, there was an army and a country fighting in the most complicated conditions imaginable against terrorists who send their own children to die for a follow-up, who use their own children as human shields. The truth is that the democratic state was attacked by a fanatical terrorist organization. 1,200 people were killed in one day, women were raped, babies were burned alive. And all that, on all the while, they played with your minds, telling you the absurd idea that supporting Islamic terror is somehow a liberal value. There is good and evil in this world. When you stand with Hamas, you stand with evil. When you stand with Hezbollah, you stand with evil. When you stand with the Iranian regime, you stand with evil. When you stand with Israel, you stand on the side of justice. Last week, I attended the 7th October memorial ceremony. An inspirational woman called Galit Dan spoke on stage. Galit had a daughter, Noya, a 13-year-old girl who was autistic like my daughter. And Noya was full of light. She loved Harry Potter. On that dark day, Noya was sleeping at her grandmother's, Carmela's house in Kibbutz Road. Carmela was 80 years old. Their bodies, grandmother and granddaughter, were found embraced. They were murdered together. On stage at the ceremony, Galit said a sentence that moved us all. We don't want revenge, she said. We want redemption. Today, the redemption begins. Israel has endured 2 terrible years on the battlefield and in the international arena. But in those 2 years, we also rediscovered our own greatness. We remember how good we can be. Our pilots who took control of the skies over Iran, our industries leading the world in technology, our civil society, which reached out to help every victim of the war. We will move forward toward a different future. Our heroic soldiers who saved us all will fold away their uniforms and rise as teachers and engineers, scientists and innovators, investors and small business owners. We will never be able to repay the debt to those who sacrificed everything these past years, to those who, as President Lincoln said, gave the last full measure of devotion. We can only be worthy of the sacrifice. Mr. President, allow me to speak also to the business community, the deal maker who understands value. If there were one stock in the world I would invest in today, it is the state of Israel. If there were one nation that deserves unrestricted access to GPU chips, to AI and SMR technologies, American markets, it is the state of Israel. Israel's future is intertwined with our eternal alliance, our strategic and moral covenant with our greatest friends, the United States of America. This war is over. We will always need to stay vigilant, guard against those who seek our destruction. But the state of Israel is about to reinvent itself. The challenges ahead demand not only strength for the new vision, it's time to take a new path. To be a nation that is advanced and thriving and peaceful. We have waited for this moment, for the end of the war, for the return of the hostages, for the chance to rechannel our grief and loss into the energy needed to rebuild our nation. Thanks to you, Mr. President. Thanks to our soldiers, our lions. Thanks to the millions of great Israeli patriots who filled the streets and the square and never, not for one moment, gave up on the hostages. Thanks to all of them, the strength within us can now rise, succeed, and build for our future and for our children. Thank you very much. God bless the United States of America. Am Israel Chai.
אני מודה לראש האופוזיציה,
I would like to thank
Gotcha.
the head of the opposition.
members of the Knesset.
Members of the
It is
Knesset.
now my distinct honor to invite the President of the United States of America, His Excellency Donald J. Trump, to address the Knesset.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor. Nice place. Very nice place. Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, esteemed members of the Knesset and cherished citizens of Israel, we gather on a day of profound joy, of soaring hope, of renewed faith, and above all, a day to give our deepest thanks to the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of war, this is the end of an age of terror and death, the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of the Middle East. I want to express my gratitude to a man of exceptional courage and patriotism, whose partnership did so much to make this momentous day possible. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Baby, please stand up. And he is not easy, I want to tell you. He's not the easiest guy to deal with, but that's what makes him great. That's what makes him great. Thank you very much, David. Great job. And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free, to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help. A lot of people that you wouldn't suspect. I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything